Is the college football world shocked? I don't know. But we sure did do something here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show, a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. That's Coop. I'm Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening. Wherever podcasts are downloaded, listen to while you're here. Please wipe your feet and like, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. You don't think we deserve it? Go ahead and give us 5 anyway and gift it. So, on today's episode of the Sooner or Later Sports Show, we've got a lot of great stuff to talk about, like the Sooners pulled out a W. They got a win that was a lot bigger than I think any of us even anticipated. How can we fix this offense? Because we got a few things on the offensive side we probably need to work on. Well, wrap things up. We'll do, of course, our poll reaction and see how the general pulse of the fan base is right now. So, shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. If you have not checked them out for daily fantasy ball, you're missing out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. Not only will they match your first deposit at 100% up to $100, they're going to give you $20 just for checking them out. Use our code UNFAIR over at sleeper.com. Coop is back, man. How are you, my friend?
Man, I'm very happy right now for a lot of reasons. Want to say thanks to everybody for all the support and everything. Obviously a tough 2 weeks, and so now we get to get back into some life and normalcy, getting things up and going. And I'm glad to be back here, and I'm glad to be back here in this instance and talking about what we're going to be talking about.
Yep, because we had ourselves a great weekend, man. That is it. That's really all you could say is we ended up doing exactly what we said we could see this team doing. And I am very, in every way, shape, or form, happy that Oklahoma made us proud. So we know that there's a bunch to talk about from this weekend. I want to open up with, I did it during my my morning after video. So for those that didn't see or the uninitiated that missed it, I'm going to go ahead and give a very nice and beautiful shout out to all of Sooner Nation. Y'all showed up and showed out. Hello to Denise. Met her at the bar at the restaurant in Birmingham. She was sweet, awesome. It was great to meet you in the flesh. Definitely a loyal watcher on a consistent basis. Same thing with Bob and JD. Saw them at the restaurant after the game. Appreciate you all. Got to hang out with the Wine family like after the game. Like they are very much loyal viewers. And so Coop, make sure post game if this weekend you got to stick around and go down there and at least say hi to them, because it was awesome seeing all of them and just how excited everybody was for this game. And thank y'all for jumping here in the comments section. We missed you all. We missed you, of course, Coop, over the last few, but let's jump right into the most important thing I guess we could talk about is the fact that the Oklahoma Sooners freaking won the game. Like, what else could you really say, Coop, about the fact that – give me your first opinions before we jump right into the deep dive of the meat and potatoes of this game. But how did you feel when you saw – as that game was unfolding into a W?
So, I don't know if it's you've seen the SEC shorts, the battered Aggie syndrome. I got to start earlier in the day because you saw these teams that were brewing for upsets, and then like the South Carolina, let's just start there. South Carolina, A&M, get this 30-3 halftime lead. I know that I was texting you, going crazy, just some of the sequences that was going on there, and then it came back. So going into the game, I thought, oh no. OU is going to come out and is going to get a big lead and then give it up at the end. Now, watching the game, looking and seeing what was going on, I didn't feel like we were playing Alabama. I really didn't. I feel like, and I want to start out saying this, is like, I think I just said I want to start out 3 separate times, but
you did. It's okay.
But that's not Alabama. That's not like the Nick Saban, like what made the championships and all that stuff. That's still a really good team, but how gimmicky were they in that game? It's like they were trying to be so dadgum gimmicky that I was like, you're literally throwing the kitchen sink at us, like trying to do these shenanigans and everything. And I thought they're scared of this team. They're scared of this team. And as it just kept on going on, it just felt like, man, if we lose this game in any capacity at all, it's going to be because we did it to ourselves.
Yeah, that is a very solid point. And that's kind of the way I felt about it is we lose this game is because we lost this game. Less on anything but us in the way that we were playing, especially, don't worry, we're going to bash in on the offense because I got a lot more things to really go into as I've done another rewatch and watching plays. I'm definitely going to, I got things to say, but that is really it. There was no reason for us to really lose the game, right? Shout out to Alabama, though. As you mentioned, they were very gimmicky. You saw Grubb was trying to find ways. What it felt like was they were trying to find an edge. And I want to answer this question real quick. Ryan in Jacksonville, thanks for the $4.99. I'm going to mark this because I'm going to talk about this more on the offensive side. But the question is, Arbuckle Truth Serum, would he say Mateer is more hurt than we lead on? There's no excuse for his scared to lose play calling. We need more. None of this is on Arbuckle. I'm just going to say that right now. I've just realized it more and more as I'm watching the tape. Again, on the other side, we will dive heavily into WTF when it comes to this offense. But defensive-wise, it did feel like Grubb was trying to find as much of an edge as he could get as possible.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to find ways to exploit this defense. I'll give this to them, though. Second quarter, they did. Second quarter, they had over 200 yards of offense, like 206. So 50% of their offense came in the second quarter. The other quarters, boom.
Yeah.
Boom. It was completely down. So when I went back and looked at the numbers, I was like, okay, I got to see what the heck actually happened in this game and like how this went. And so when I pulled up the game stats, I'm pulling them back up again because I closed that window on accident. First quarter, they had 60 yards of offense. So you're like, all right, you got something good. Second quarter, they got into a rhythm. They got into a really good rhythm, and they had 246 at the half, right? So you're giving up, and that's just passing. They had 274 yards of offense. Second quarter, that tells you they had 214 yards. More than 50% of their offense came in Q2. You are staticking up, Coop. If your phone's close, go ahead and move that away. But it was wild to see that after that, you saw our adjustment in theirs, and they just could not get back to what they were. So initial thought, and going back, let's just focus on the defense here. Brent Venables playing a chess match with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer was absolute cinema. Absolute. What got you excited about this defense? Because we got to do that.
Yeah, I got to start out this. Did it again, man. So you had the shenanigans, and so it wasn't even like a chess match. Like as I'm looking through it felt like they saw what Ole Miss did, and they're like, oh, we need to do that. And so I will say that Brent Venables did not get out coached this game. He did not. Like he won the coaching battle.
Yeah. He did.
They had the fake quarterback walk off, the stumble play. They had the everybody looking to the sidelines,
which was by design. That stumble play was a designed play by them. They've done it before.
I don't know. I mean, obviously, running back falls down. You know that would have been that. I mean, he looked like he got shot. And even like the commentator was like, Alabama's being very tricky today. But Jay, this is the big piece is. I didn't look up the stat, and I wanted to, and I didn't get around to it. But yards after catch by Alabama. I got to think that there was probably 2 plays where they actually had it. Because like the tight ends, and both of those were on shenanigan plays. Like both of the big plays were there. Like anytime that a wide receiver caught a ball, they were down. They were going down right then in the zone coverage. That was it. I want to start with this. So
I love y'all.
You saw that piece right there to where if they did make a pass completion, it was done. Earlier in the year, you saw teams were not being aggressive against us, and therefore we weren't getting the turnovers, but we weren't allowing the yards. And it seems like now more teams, the last 2 weeks, Tennessee and Bama have wanted to go and push a little bit more, and that produced turnovers. The footwork with Simpson started getting really, really, really bad. So it was just a continual. We talked about the defense. We talked about David Stone. We talked about the defensive linemen, like them blowing up plays and sacrificing their individual production for the play. And you saw it time and time again. Eli Bowen, there was one time that they tried to throw a little wide receiver screen, and Eli Bowen pushed the wide receiver 5 to 6 yards back into the backfield, and it made the whoever caught it hold for a second. And Heineke comes flying completely across the field. And so you knew right then and there that like it was going to be a tough game. It was going to be a game that if you wanted to, get a highlight for yourself, it probably wasn't going to happen, because the moment you caught the ball, you were down.
Yeah, that was basically what you got out of this game, was they weren't allowing anything, for the most part, to go. They had 152 yards and yards after the catch. In this game, we had 60. Most of it was Cuevas, the tight end. He had 64, and Hill, the running back, big old Hill, Darius Hill, 30. He had 33 yards.
Derrick Henry Jr.
I'm sorry, Daniel Hill, 6'1", 244. What Brent Venables did that impressed me the most was he actually paid attention to the scouting report, especially in the second half. I don't know if you all knew this, but Alabama's not very good at blocking with their running backs. Case in point, 5'11", 181-pound Devon Jordan ran through 6'1", 244-pound Daniel Hill to get that sack on a blitz.
Ran through
him. That's consistent with the scouting report. Their running backs cannot block. And I have no clue why not. The physicality is not there for how, at least against us. It's like the weirdest dynamic. It's like against us, the struggle is real in being physical when you're trying to stop Oklahoma. So a lot of people are throwing Oklahoma just, I can't believe we lost this game. How could we lose? Easy. Oklahoma has out-physicaled Alabama both times that they played them, and majority of the times they played over the last 25 years.
It literally, you look at they scored their touchdown to go up 21-20. OU holds them to a 0. And I think it's the next 22 minutes, because that's the last score.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like, what are the yards? As I'm looking in the fourth, so you look after that touchdown.
Fourth quarter was 40 yards. They had 40 yards in the fourth quarter.
So after the touchdown, 3 plays 7 yards, 5 plays 10 yards and a fumble, 3 plays -2 yards, 13 plays 42 yards.
Oh yeah, the drive summaries does not look very.
It felt like watching our offense last year when we were playing Tennessee. That was a really, really good defense, our offense. But the thing is you've got a guy who's going to go in the first round quarterback. You've got 2 guys that are going to be first round wide receivers. You've got 2 or 3 offensive linemen that are going to be high round day 1, day 2 draft picks.
Yeah, they got a lot of NFL dudes.
They got a lot of guys. So, I got to shout out, and Topher, you just said it. This game was led by Governor of the state of Alabama, Kip Lewis, and now the newly elected Lieutenant Governor Eli Bowen.
And I don't think it was newly elected. He was already there.
I mean, last year he shut Ryan Williams down too.
And he had a pick in that game. He finally got to do what Kip didn't do, which was return. He got to do what Kip did. He returned his for an interception, whereas Kip this time just was out there just terrorizing everybody. This was probably Kip. This was a legacy game for Kip. And the stat sheet may not reflect fully on the numbers, but Kip was all over the freaking place. This was a big game for him. Statistically in this game, Coop, I think this is what warmed my heart the most when you go look at how the Oklahoma defense played. Let me pull, because I wanted to look at this completely. Defense-wise, Oklahoma came into this bad boy. That number right there, you had the interception, you had 2 pass breakups, which is kind of crazy. We only had 2. They did a lot of dumping and getting rid of the ball. Cortland Guillory get 1. You had Peyton. Actually, Eli and Peyton get 1. Cortland shockingly did not get 1. They didn't give him the credit of the one where there was a double PI. That was definitely, most likely should have been called offensive PI, but they didn't call it. They let it slide. Kip with 7 solo tackles. 2 tackles for loss. 2 sacks. His sacks were his tackles for loss.
Jay, I'm gonna throw another stat at you because we all know Ryan Williams is a very, very good wide receiver. Last year, Eli held him to 37 yards. This year, they held him to 45 yards. That's 82 yards in 2 games. Mr. Bowen had 87 on his interception return. So Eli Bowen not only has shut down a very, very explosive wide receiver, but then he outdoes him with the INT return. And I don't know what it was like at the stadium during that, but I got to think that that's probably when some puckering started, when Eli runs that back. But I guess being a fan, you still think, well, this is a really, really good offense. Like, we can do this. Thing is, guys, we've mentioned it. We've said these things quite often. You hear it in NFL. You hear it in college football. When you are forced to be a singular dynamic on offense, it's going to catch up to you.
Yeah, it will. It will. That kind of works.
But no, I got to say, Kip has let a lot of people get theirs all season long. I was trying to look in the stats yesterday for the who leads the tackles in the SEC. I think Kip, as our leading tackler, is like in the 20s in the SEC. Like, this defense isn't good at like one position group.
No.
It's all tiers of the defense is great. And I've had some people say, yeah, but y'all gave up like 400 yards, and but that you gave 400 yards, and okay. Listen, if you want to stuff stats, I will tell you this, Jay. When I'm looking at number, that left side is what I care about.
Yeah,
and the W.
The W column. Who's getting the W? That's what's all that matters. And you're 100% right. So I've had a few people, point out that to me in my morning after video and some of the comment section and whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't understand that they got all their yards literally in one quarter. 214 yards came in the second quarter.
And only 14 points. We slowed them down the rest of the way. That field goal was blocked by Taylor Wine. Go rewatch the tape. You see it hit his hand. You're like, wait, what? He did it. So, for me, in this game, we did, for the most part, everything that we really needed to do to be successful. The one thing that jumped out to me the most was the turnovers. And I said this going into this game, and a lot of you watched me talk to a lot of the Alabama fans, and their biggest thing was, oh, well, Ty Simpson didn't turn the ball over. He's got 1 interception all season. I'm like, yes, but Ty Simpson has 5 fumbles that he's lost this year, and he lost 4 straight fumbles to a sack in 4 straight games.
Every game, the last 4 games, he had a strip sack fumble. We made it his 5th straight because of the Taylor Wine play. My point is, and this is what I felt like made Ty Simpson so good in this game, is Ty Simpson will stand tall in that pocket. I'll give it to Grubb, too, on the trickery that he had him running the RPO like twice to try to force our hand on focusing on him enough to where they could hopefully get their run game going. So that's smart on him because Ty Simpson doesn't run. He knew he had nothing but space. He took that and he went to the ground. Very smart, but you can't do that with him as much they would have liked to. Like, he gained 19 yards in the game. He lost 28 because of the sacks. He's not a dude that runs the ball. But it was smart. Like I said, 9-yard run here and there. Really good job by them. But the one thing I pointed out to everybody, and it's funny, my guy from the Bama Standard, he was DMing me, and he was like, everything you said that y'all needed to do to win this game literally came to fruition. I need you to meet me in Vegas. And it was not that, and not to be overly cocky and arrogant behind it, but it was things that I have seen with the way that they have trended through all their games. No one has really gotten to the house on Ty Simpson that much. Florida State put him under pressure a lot. Vanderbilt did. Like, Vanderbilt could have won that game if they didn't turn the ball over in the red zone twice. That game looks totally different. That's what we did. So, with that, and I will definitely answer this question, Lloyd. I will add that to the star for later. We will talk about the next coming games coming up. I will add that in there now. Boomer Tutty 61, thank you for the $5. Gonna address you real quick. 35-13 Sooners over Missouri. We'll talk about that game as well. We're gonna talk about all of them. Jake, good question, and this is where I'm going to with this. How many deception plays did Bama try? It tells me everything I need to know about how they felt about our elite defense. They had at least 6-ish. Like, it felt like their entire goal was to get that edge. And I'm very happy that we did not give them the full edge that they wanted.
They knew that they could not line up and beat this offense or beat our defense straight up. They knew it.
They knew it.
And Jay, here's where I don't agree with when you do those types of things. That type of coaching is reflected in your players. Because you're an elite offense. They're elite. Like, they're still elite. Like, the fact that you hold them to 21, again, the yards mean nothing. That's like dudes coming in and dunking the basketball and flexing against the Thunder in the fourth quarter, and they're down 35. Like, come on, knock it off. Like, yeah, you got some points, and you can tell your grandkids, but it didn't mean anything. But as a player, if you go in, you're like, guys, we are going to do this. We're going to work on this. We're going to do this. It started with Grubb in the press conferences. You know, you had all of this kind of. I'm just saying, we are not running trickery on defense. There's no shenanigans that we're trying to run on defense. But I will say again, it's not. I mean, you can run some spins and some twists and other things. But I mean,
fair. I was gonna say, as exotic as his blitzes are, well, it's not truly deception. So you're right. It's not truly deception. It's just you just have zero clue of what's coming at your face, which is
the crap where he's walking to the sideline. And I do notice one thing, and I think that Gabe and Teddy said it out loud too. Is like they probably had those conversations before the game with the refs. Say we're gonna do this, and even the times where they did the clap, he had the deal to where he did the clap. And then they looked to the sideline, and then they clapped again. Mm-hmm. And we had like 6 or 7 dudes looking to the sideline, and that's one of the big Cuevas touchdowns.
Yeah.
But as that, then what does that mean when you're running a play and you're not going to run one of these deception tactics? Like, at that point, what do you feel like? Do you feel as an offensive player that, like, well, man, hopefully we can be productive on this play because we're not trying to trick them?
I mean, I think that was the mindset of doing those plays was they needed to find an edge. They knew that this defense was going to cause problems. And that is exactly what Oklahoma wanted. We wanted to make them feel like there were going to be, you were not going to easily go out there and just do what you wanted to do, which is exactly what you walk into this game saying. You're going to tell them, no, you can try whatever you want. We're not going to make it easy for you. Period. You're going to work for any and everything that you get. So like for them, the biggest challenge was how do we get positive yards consistently on a defense that can send 4 dudes and get pressure on the quarterback. That's where the mindset goes for them, because they know that Ty Simpson's not going to really move. He's going to stand tall in that pocket. He's going to shift here and there, and he's going to hit those dudes on some passes in some good spots. And we made that very hard. It's hard to do that when you're under duress.
Well, Brent Venables' defense and his defensive game plan, you go in a zone, out of zone, but his game plan is, all right, what we are going to do is we are going to make you take what we give you. You're gonna have to do it over and over and over and over again, and we're gonna put all the chips on the fact that the more plays that you run, eventually we're gonna get you. Whether it's going to be a sack, a tackle for loss, or now a turnover. And like I started off with was you have those situations where we were not getting turnovers early in the season, but we weren't letting yards up because people were going max protect, they were going dink and dunk, and they weren't able to do anything. And there's no yards after catch, there's no broken tackles and stuff like that. And then now you saw Ole Miss, Tennessee and Alabama go, oh no, let's go ahead and play our game and let's get it out there, and we're going to take some shots at it. And we got turnovers against all 3 of them. The difference between Ole Miss with Chambliss, Aguilar, and now with Simpson was we lost Ole Miss game because Chambliss, when it all went to hell, he could get out and extend the drive.
Yes, that's what made him so good. And they took their time.
Aguilar could not, and neither could Simpson. And Jay, let's not forget, you have Jaden Jackson out there playing just by using his soul. Yeah. Like, he was not 100%, and he's not going to be 100% this week. You had R. Mason not even out there. You had Kobe out there. He wasn't 100%. Heineke's still running around with the club on his hand. So, you did this to Bama and that elite offense at 85, 90%.
It's 85-ish, 80%. Yeah. You weren't at full strength, which is a good thing. So we're going to give awards on the defensive side of the ball because I think the defense deserve a lot more love. But I do need to rip into this offense a little bit. We're going to do that first. Shout out to the partners over there at Sleeper. Again, if you're not using it for daily fantasy ball, you got to check them out. They are the sponsor of the channel, and they're going to hook you up. They'll match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Plus, they're going to give you $20 just for checking them out. So if you look at some of the NFL options that are out there for today, of course, you can go check them out for college football over the weekend. But for like tonight's game, Jahmyr Gibbs, former Bama running back, he's been killing it. Definitely would take him on the more. A.J. Brown, he's definitely a less. Why would you take him on the more when you know that, Philly, for some reason, doesn't throw the ball as much with the way they play? Saquon's probably going to score a touchdown, and we'll take less on the Devontae Smith. But Jared Goff's probably going to get himself probably less than a touchdown and a half. Pick 2 or more players, more or less on the stats. They also have all kinds of bonuses and free picks to hook you up. So check them out. Use the promo code UNFAIR. They're going to give you $20 as well as match your first deposit 100% up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So thank you all once again for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. I do want to continue to talk and praise on the defense because they deserve a lot of that. But I want to dive into this offense first because I do need to file my grievances on how this offense has been. So the question that was posed, and I do appreciate the super chat on here that asked the question from Ryan in Jacksonville. We'll put up again, $5. We appreciate it. Arbuckle Truth Serum, will he say Arbuckle was more hurt than he let on? There's no excuse for this scared to lose play calling. We need more. So back to that point, I do not believe that Arbuckle is calling a play to lose type offense, like at all. I think that he is calling plays where dudes are open. Material's missing them. But I will say, if you notice, a lot of his rocket passes and those really good ones to certain spots are him flinging it sidearmed, which tells me one thing. He ain't planting that knee. So now you may say, Jay, he's running. Shout out to my guy Grimlock. He pointed this out. Material's really good at running north and south, like straight lines. If you notice, he's barely cutting. If he does cut, he seems to fall to the ground. I think that knee is bothering him still. And I thought it was better after Tennessee, and it obviously ain't. So to me, if there's one thing I would like Arbuckle to do, eliminate 100% John Mateer running the ball as an option. If you're going to do a design run and he runs straight, cool. You got to keep the defense honest. Tell that dude stay in that pocket, because I'm going to be honest. When I watched the way that we blocked in this game, dog, shout out to the young pups. All of them looked good blocking. Majority of the game, because Alabama was sending only 3 a lot of the times, and we were handling it just fine until the quarterback decided to move out of the pocket. Stand there, rocket launch it, but he ain't planting, and it's starting to wear me out at this point.
There were a couple of the runs where he buckled and fell down, like Jason White way back in the day.
Yep.
Against Nebraska. I know that knee is not good. That's not a question. And like you said, when the play where he shook off the sack, and he rocketed it. It was off of one leg, 3/4 arm, just like a shortstop. They always give him the baseball comparison, and I'm mildly offended by that because you're not supposed to throw a football like a baseball, no matter what they want to give you a parallel on. But anyway, nonetheless, he does that. He throws it, and it is a rope to sustain you. But there are so many times to where I think John Mateer, it kind of reminds me of the first year Georgia won. I'm drawing a blank here with the walk-on quarterback. He's on the Rams now. Holy crap! Somebody help me out here. Stetson Bennett. That first year, their offense just did enough, and they also had a guy named Brock Bowers at tight end who just erased a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, they had a lot of beasts on that offense, yes.
But they didn't have anybody outside that was like a major threat week in and week out.
Correct.
And we're starting to see teams play like it was last year. No drop back. Teams are not any more than 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage. And you absolutely have to. You got to throw it downfield. Because, Jay, at this point, we've got so many 1 yard. And listen, if X-Rob's not able to go, I would rather them do that than try to throw one of these, 4 yard, hospital balls that get guys drilled. But throw it deep. I mean, if you're going to do that, you're going to loosen up something. And they know that eventually it's going to come.
Yeah.
But if you don't ever do it, if you don't ever throw it out there, nobody's scared. Nobody's going to back off these wide receivers. What on film tells you that these guys are going to run past you?
Yep. I mean, that's the bad part is they will. They can. And we just got to throw it to them when they're open. But you can't do that when you cut half of your field off by running out of your pocket. That's literally there baking for you. You could sit back there, bake a cake, and then throw the ball. That's like the time that we're seeing back there. You got to start ripping it. And to me, the fix on the offense fully really is you're just going to have to find ways to run to the outside, do some inside zone, outside zone, run on the outside of your tackles. You're going to mix that up a lot more. Do that. And then have him throw more of you. Because, I mean, he does well on the quick reads in the RPO. Those slants, when he sees the safety comes down. He ripped one to Giovanni, with two of them to Giovanni, which were fantastic. Yes. The Deion Burks 2 catches at the beginning on the first drive were awesome. You're like, oh, this is what we're going to be doing. And so, Bama, they adjusted to that. We don't give our wide receivers the chance to go out for deep passes to where they can go battle one-on-one. I don't know why Mateer doesn't try it. I would do that a lot more. I mean, I understand most of your deep passes would be to like a Burks or a Satania, but find a way, take your time in the pocket, and throw it deep to Burks, who will outrun some of these dudes. Throw him to where he's in a race with the safety to a spot, and I know he's going to win. Do it. Take advantage of that.
Jermichael Carter's starting to kind of pop a little bit too, and he run the deep end route. And looks like his 22-yard pass. Yeah, he ran that one. Then he ran the very next. He ran like an 8-yard out, and he got hit there too, and then pulled himself out. Whatever needs to happen, but I mean, John Mateer needs to understand that, like, if you want more people around you,
yeah, continue
to hold on to the ball and not do it. I will say this though, Jay. I agree with Gabe and Teddy. I listened to a little bit of it earlier. It looks like they're just willing to not make a mistake. And you can't do that once we get in. This team makes it to the playoffs. You're not going to be able to do it because in the seed that you're going to be slotted in, if you win the next 2, you're going to be facing some good defenses. And so if you do not start spreading some of this stuff out, I don't see it. I do think John Mateer still doesn't really want to make the mistake, doesn't want to throw it downfield, doesn't want to give a 50-50 chance to some of these wide receivers. But, Jay, I also want to say that we've seen some of the deep routes, the wide receivers just run really, really poor disciplined routes, breaking to the wrong side, and I think that plays a part of it. Now, what needs to happen? You need to get out and practice, and you need to work on that chemistry, and that needs to be a big part of your practice, whoever it is, because everybody's healthy now.
Yeah, and I kind of disagree with you, Ryan, here on the statement of offense is easy negatively recruit. We need difference makers. I think that makes it easy to recruit because some people will say, well, they don't have any difference makers, and those difference makers will say, well, I can be that. Yeah. The one thing that we've done a really good job is we play a lot of freshmen, especially on defense. We've done it on offense. We haven't done it in the wide receiver room yet, which has always been weird to me, but I think there's a reason why. So I'll give the grace of everybody's learning the playbook together still, or how to run a lot of the changes as they're installing more and more stuff. What I want to see, though, is I need to see a lot more shots deep. Satania's a track dude. We've seen him outrun people. Give me some more of those. Those dropping the bucket passes that we've seen, I know that Mateer can do it. Do more of those. We know defenses are going to watch Satania do that. So decoy Satania to one side of the field and have somebody go across the middle. Hit Kanik across the middle. Overall, what I need to figure out is why is Mateer so afraid to step on that knee? That is what I'm trying to figure out. Because you see him at times, he'll step on that knee and he'll just, boom, fly. And you're like, oh, man, okay, he's starting to feel it. And then other times it looks like he's hesitant to do that. Like I was watching him play in the fourth quarter, the pass to Kanik that almost got intercepted by Nikai Hill-Green for Alabama, the linebacker. And literally Kanik broke out and he's just standing there. He's basically doing this, doing jumping jacks. And it was like, Mateer's like, okay, should I run? Should I run? Should I throw? Should I throw? I'm going to run. No, can't do it. Throw it. No. Fire it in there because your arm is strong enough that you're good. Now, I asked this question, though, is it because he can't see over his offensive line? That is my other question, because we do have a tall offensive line. Is that becoming a problem at 6'1"? Is he not seeing the field fully there? And is he not trusting the timing routes, kind of as you mentioned, based upon the route running? A lot of questions there. X-Rob took a shot to the knee, and it looked like he was hobbling basically the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Torrey got in. He got a little something. He didn't get as much going as we would like. He'll have an opportunity. Not really Missouri, because Missouri's defense is kind of solid. Kind of. But they may be a chance. Same thing with LSU. There may be an opportunity in those two games, because Missouri has given up 100 yards rushing every week since their game against Massachusetts. Heck, they gave up 125 to Bama. You should be able to get something. They gave up 200-something yards against Texas A&M, which I think that was a lot of Marcel Reed anyway, but you should be able to find the run game against Missouri, period. And that's going to be important going forward.
And I'm wondering if the Tennessee run game was a little fool's gold, because the big run, it seems like Arbuckle's a little bit more willing to stick in with the running game at home. But I will say there's not a. I'm not going to give Ben Arbuckle a complete hall pass on this one. Like, there's been some play calls, and I saw somebody mention it earlier, doing a toss sweep out to the outside. Burks is not a good blocker, and he doesn't look like he even wants to try to be. It's not getting better. But again, if you have a defense that is elite, a special teams that is elite, you just don't want to lose the game on offense, and that's hard for us to watch. Because if you zoom way the hell out right now, and I could go back to August 28th and say, everybody, I promise you this. We will go to Bama and win, and we'll be rolling in back at home to face Missouri at 8-2. Nobody would care how it was done. But because we see it week in and week out, that's what's tough. And
it's the hard part.
It's got now the offense has to get better. It sucks that we're saying this 10 games into the season, Jay.
That's bad. That's part that's kicking all of our tail, is that we're actually saying this again in this far into the season.
And it still continues to be this. Is we're on defense, we don't see a situation where the whole defense plays really, really good in a play and that somebody just falls apart and gives up big things. But for our offense, I don't think that our offense is horrible across the board. But when you call a wide receiver screen, and on one play, Deion Burks just absolutely gets just leveled. And then on another play, Caden Helms just gets destroyed by a safety. And I gave props to Eli Bowen for blowing up one. Caden Helms did it. And Caden Helms did not have a good day yesterday, but he's played great in the past couple games up to this point. So I'm going to say maybe this is an outlier. But we all feel you. We all feel you. Like, we want to win games. My sign off on the offense part is when we won against Florida State in 2000, we won 13-2. Now, is it hard to continue to do this type of game week in and week out? It is. It really is. But we went to Bama at their place, and we came out with a win. Now we get to hang out at the house for 2 weeks against two teams that we will be favored by close to a touchdown, if not more, on LSU's port. But I want to see the offense and Ben Arbuckle, whatever needs to happen this week. Guys, we're running for no less than 150 yards this week. Let's go get it.
We should. Offensive efficiency-wise, somebody asked the question about where we're ranked offensively. With efficiency or whatnot, we're a top 50 offense. That's middle of the pack. So it's not great. It's not where we would like to be. But because the defense is rated so high, 4th rated in efficiency right now, in most metrics, in most places, we have just enough to survive and keep pushing on. Now, I know the question is, let's talk about that. Let's talk about this defense. Let's talk about what the efficiency on the defense means. But first, we do that. Shout out to our partners at Sleeper. If you're not using them for daily fantasy football or daily fantasy sports in general, you are missing out. They are hooking everybody up. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up. No deposit required. Use our promo code UNFAIR. But if you decide to deposit, they're going to give you $100 if you deposit $100. And I jump in there and I play quite often. You just pick 2 or more players, pick more or less, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money, which turns your game days into paydays. So download the app. It's one of the top apps out there. Use our promo code UNFAIR. You're going to get $100 if you deposit $100. But if you decide not to deposit, they're going to give you $20 for signing up. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thanks again all for pulling up. Hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. I want to go back to the defense because, yeah, we ripped into the offense and we understand just how abysmal things look, and we're not sugarcoating anything. We're just trying to figure out what the heck the problem is, and we're trying to figure out what the theories are out there, and just it sucks that we're 10 games in. We're still trying to figure that out, but whatever. We're winning games. And the offense seems to do well about getting scores at points that we need. Because why, Coop? The defense is putting us in spots to make it very easy to score. Shout out to Titanium Leg, Tate Sandell, because he out here just hitting these field goals because we keep putting him in field goal range. And so if the defense keeps doing that, what's the complaint? And Coop, you pointed this out in the comments that people were wondering, and I think, Chuck, you asked this question around the health of or just the stamina of the defense because we play so much. That's why we rotate. Like, we had 23 people play against Alabama. At least 9 snaps. 23. So we were rotating like crazy. The reason for that, especially in the interior in the trenches, is not only do we have the competitive depth, we also have the talent that allows for us to do it, especially in certain configurations. And so when your defense is causing these problems, like, for example, Taylor Williams, my defensive MVP, with how not only he blocked a field goal, he forced the fumble on the sack, the strip sack, which gets you right there and gets you the lead. Your defense is going to do that. We're at least not squandering that. If I'm correct, knock on wood, we still have a 100% red zone rate on offense.
Yes.
Yeah, that to me tells me, okay, we're at least freaking doing that. Like, if anything's going right, is the defense is getting us close to the red zone. We get in the red zone and then we score points. That to me is probably the most important thing.
And I'm going to harken back to last year because I saw, and I love Damian Mackey, former wide receiver. He on Barry and Mac's podcast, part of the OU Insider group.
Yeah.
So he talks to he brings it up multiple times a game, to where he says, you know, hey, I love these guys, but why are we rotating guys in and out like this? Last year, during the Auburn game, Danny Stutt's been sitting on the sideline, keeping Kobe in. This year, it happens a bunch of times too. But Jay, you said it, Jaden Hardy. I know it's on special teams, but the dude's been playing, so he is locked in all the time. You had Davon Jordan come in, and he's been playing, been rotating in. Not like later in the game, but first quarter, second series.
Important minutes.
He's coming in. Important minutes. You got Heineke. So you've got so many of these guys. And I saw somebody mention it. Yeah, we got to rotate a lot of people because they're on the field a lot. Well, that's why we got to this point. Like, this is a way, and this is our offense is at a spot to where you've seen people go in and win Super Bowls, win national championships because their defense were good, their offense were opportunistic and made plays and got points on the board when they could. And that still is the case with this offense. I think that we all remember Baker, Jalen, Kyler. We all remember those days. We saw Caleb Williams get kind of crazy. I mean, Caleb Williams led team, scored like, 23, 24, something like that against Kansas. Like, it's not like there was a great offense with him, but we are not scoring points in like with the this week, the first field goal after the punt return. Like, you go poke that in, I think that we feel a lot better about the day. We get another field goal. I think you feel good about the day. And Jay, I'm pretty sure you can check my math, but we scored on our first possession out of half for the first time this year.
Yeah, I can see that.
This week.
Yeah. But, I mean, and to that point, Chuck, this is my thing, is that
you can't.
I don't. What makes you think you can't do that every game now? We're doing it. We've done it 2 great games in a row, in 2 critical games in a row. I think that's the point, is that the beginning of the season, we weren't causing turnovers, but we were winning the game by just grinding it out like we're supposed to. Now, as the season has progressed closer to the end, we're now creating turnovers against teams who turn the ball over more. And now we're creating the scenarios we need to win games. That's kind of where our point comes into it. So I get what you're saying, is that we got 3 turnovers. You can't win like that. Actually, you can. We just did it 2 games in a row. We started my point behind that and why I kind of go against you with that, Chuck, is we're taking what the offenses are giving us with this defense and the way they're playing, and Brent Venables has been scheming it to where we're taking advantage of it. We weren't created at the beginning of the year. The offense was actually doing stuff for us. Now on defense, they're finding ways. Heck, let me see. Reggie Powers had that fumble that somehow they were able to fumble and get advance yards on, which is so weird to me, but I guess. You get the other fumble, and luckily Kobe did not pick it up, which is still the funniest thing in the world to me, dog.
It is.
We force a fumble. Kobe just completely, pun intended, fumbles the bag on that one because it's right there in his hands.
Don't know what to
do.
You don't know what
to do with his hands, and he fumbles it out of bounds. Next play is a pick 6. It's like, well, I guess the football god said you gonna get this. How you want it, and that was one of those plays where Robert Spears-Jennings moves up at the receiver and is about to try to jump the play, but the pass was erratic because of the pressure coming in. Like, it was either Robert Spears-Jennings was going to pick that off and it was going to be done, or Eli takes it to the house. And Eli was the one that got it because the pass ended up being more erratic than I think even Ty Simpson realized.
Because Kip Lewis was coming in like a GD missile.
Straight at his chest.
Smoked his ass. But Jay, you also had this, is we had, so it didn't count. These are turnovers that didn't count, but that fumble, wasn't a fumble. The incomplete pass, which wasn't an incomplete pass, but which was a fumble and then fumbled forward. And I heard that maybe Kobe couldn't bend down because of the groin, but there's
I understand that.
Jeremy Bernard had 2 fumbles that came out like right as his knee hit the ground, but we were causing it. And I haven't seen this defense like just come down with the fists like they were this week. It was nuts. But I also say this, like, Tennessee, number 1 offense in the SEC. Ole Miss, number 2 offense in the SEC. Now Alabama slid back a little bit more because we do that to folks. But I mean, Missouri, they can run the hell out of the ball, but they're still going to have they're going to have an issue with that. And Pribula was out warming up. He's not. I don't think he's playing this weekend. But the point is yes. Can we mark down before we go out and take the field 3 turnovers per game? I don't think so. But are we going to see 0? I don't think that we're going to get 3 turnovers against Missouri unless Boganowski has himself a day with Hardy. But those things happen when you put that much stress. I talk about the high stress plays on players in any sport. When you know that every single play is going to be a one to where you are going to get hit probably at or near the line of scrimmage, and then you're going to have 3 or 4 other dudes coming cleaning you up too. Mm-hmm. Eventually, you get. I mean, it's just human nature to be like, I don't want to get hit like this again. because those wide receivers on those bubble screens, they started catching them differently. They really did. Like, if you go back and rewatch the game, the early ones, typically the wide receiver is going to catch the ball out in front, and he's going to be just heading towards the line. The later ones, they're catching it body, and they're, like, assessing. And just that split second of pause is because people know that they're about to get lit.
Yep.
They know that they're going to get hit hard. Not by one guy, but typically by 2-3 guys. And so I think that the defense is going to continue to do what they've done. To go back to the offense, Jay, we still haven't played a good game on offense.
No, not. I mean, I think the best game we played was Michigan. Probably this year so far was the Michigan game. The
like 2
Tennessee
years ago.
game was decent. Second half. First half was terrible. Second half was better. First half you're tied. It's 10-10, and you cause all those turnovers to make sure it's that. My thing is, and Chuck, I'm not saying that we're not depending on it, but that's kind of what your defense does is you disrupt, and that's what we're doing is we're disrupting. We're going to go against most likely a true freshman quarterback or a quarterback that had a dislocated ankle 3 weeks ago. I don't think you want to put a dislocated ankle quarterback out on the field against us. They're probably going to work him in the next game, the last game of the season, in preparation for bowl season. That's probably most likely what they're going to do. But you got a true freshman in Matt Zoller that will go up against us. And the way they won their game was they just handed the ball to freaking Hardy, and he just ran it down their throat. Zoller threw for 77 yards against Texas A&M. He threw for 112 against Mississippi State on 8 of 16 throws.
And Jay, Mississippi State is the worst rushing defense in the SEC. Dead last.
They are the worst. They're awful at tackling people. So
we are at the other side of that.
Yeah, exactly. So talk about them in just a minute. I still want to give these flowers out on defense. Jordan coming in and disrupting the game the way he did with that sack, with the call that BV made. Like, there was just so many plays that came at the perfect time in the second half of this game. I think we gave up 130-something yards in the second half total, with only 40 in the fourth quarter, which is exactly what you want. They even had a long drive. That one drive, they were burning clock. Everybody's trying to figure out why aren't they being more urgent. 7 minutes. Why aren't they having more urgency on this drive? I can tell you why. They was kind of nervous. They were trying to figure out what the heck to do. We were causing those problems.
Dink and dunk. I mean, that's what it was. Is do we throw it downfield and get a pick again? Like, that was Ty Simpson's footwork all jacked up. Wide receivers super hesitant. Guys were getting the balls tipped, off the corner of their hands. And so that the last drive, 13 plays, 42 yards, 6 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yep.
And
that was just us slowing them up.
And it was 4th and 6 at the end. Like I said, if Brent Venables gets his way, he is going to make you play 6, 7, 8, 9 plays. And his bet is we are going to be successful and turn you over or get you behind the chains before you are going to see success. He'll allow you to go up and down. Now, he doesn't like giving up the yards. He said it going into the half. He's like, we really need to, do a little bit more. They got us here. They got us there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, his money is on the fact that if he gets 10 plays, his defense gets 10 plays against your offense, he's going to win.
Yeah. That's what he's banking for right there. And like you said, with this drive, like I'm looking at the drive sheet here, they got run, they pass for a play, get a first down, they get a couple of runs. And I'm going to be honest, I kind of feel like we let them run those runs. Like, let them get some yards on those plays. Let them burn that clock for us. Because we knew what was going to come next. And that's when you get, like, the 4th and 1 where they had to do the trick play to get the first down, which was really weird to me. But besides that, you get Simpson out of the timeout. After the 2 minutes, you sack him for 11 yards. And then they have to start, because that was the one thing that Bama's been really good at this year is their success rate on first down has been high. They always have short second and thirds. You put them in a spot where they didn't like being at. And the way they're running clock, because they don't really run a hurry-up offense, you're like, they're about to screw up in this. Yeah, y'all gonna, and they did. After you got that play, they got into panic mode, and they're trying to dump the ball off, get rid of it. 3rd and 21 and 4th and 6, and you get Peyton Bowen with the beautiful defensive play because you had an idea of where they were going to try to go to try to get the first down. So my point, and kind of with all of this circle and talk, is it's okay to depend on your defense to help you win games. The offense do need to contribute by getting some longer drives, but they're doing that in a lot of time. I mean, the drive in the 4th was a 24-second drive. It's pretty good. Your drive coming into the 4th quarter, you like going from the 3rd, you end the 3rd with it was like 50-something seconds, and you continue to sustain. Your goal in this, you had a 3-minute drive, a 7-minute drive in the 3rd quarter, a 7-minute drive with a 3-minute drive right behind it. You had 10 minutes in drives in that in the 3rd. Your second half numbers were really good when it comes to drive summary. Time possession, like Alabama had a time possession of 35 to your 24, and that was all first half.
Yeah,
which is okay. Second half, you locked it down and forced them into other places they want to go. Lot of praise should be going to the defensive line, how they play. Jaden Jackson playing with a bad whatever he's got, foot, ankle. Yeah, everything around there. He got you about 14, 15 snaps in some good spots. Stone was basically being double teamed. They went max protect in a lot. At the second quarter, they played a lot of max protect.
Yeah.
That is what you're doing.
And you're still seeing multiple times. There was one time where I saw Stone absolutely destroyed, go up. It moves Simpson off, and he ends up throwing a wide ball out to the outside, a play that him and Jeremy Bernard have made 30 times this year. And sometimes you're going to have plays like that. They don't show up in the stats. I think we had 10 quarterback pressures, I think, at halftime, so I don't know how much we ended up with. But, again, the identity of this team is we are the 3 phases of the game. We're really good at special teams. We're very good at defense. And then our offense, we want more out of it. We all do.
Yeah.
We really all of us really do. And what's going to be crazy, Jay, is you're going to go out against one of these next 2 teams and say you go up and you throw out, 40 points against Missouri. Everybody's going to be like, yeah, this is all better. We got it fixed. It's going to be week in and week out. It's going to have to be. It's going to be week in, week out that you're going to be grinding some of these things. You're still running with 3 true freshmen. They are now in game 3. This week will be game 3 for them on the offensive line playing together. They're going to get better.
Yeah, they're gonna show some improvements, and let's jump right into. That's a good lead right into the next couple of games that's coming up. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Chad Smith had a good question. I like this one. We had this discussion. Curious your thoughts. Who's a bigger loss when not available? Are Mason Thomas or Jaden Jackson, both basically out against Bama and still won wild? Bigger loss to me felt like it's probably Jaden. And that's nothing against RMT, but I think that edge room is just really good. Taylor Wine showed you. Marvin Jones Jr. looked really good when he came out there. PJ had some time. You saw some Okoye, a lot of good rotations from all 4 of those. Wine was absurd. Wine basically took that spot that RMT was most likely going to have.
And you know what? This is, which is your left lung, your right lung more valuable? That's what it is to me tough. Because I saw so many times to where it was PJ, it was even Taylor. There were guys that were coming off the edge, and they were this close multiple times. If you go back and you watch it, so close. And I'm like, and I thought multiple times throughout the game, like, if that's our Mason Thomas, that's a strip sack right there.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's how good this defense is. We just are, everybody's looking at this and going, damn, look at this defense. Like with our Mason Thomas on there, I think that you have a lot more pressure on the quarterback. You probably have another strip sack. But we have, we have a plethora, Hefe, of talent on the defensive line, and that's where we've been going towards. Again, zoom out. You 10 years ago, if we explained to you what we had at defense, especially across the defensive line, people would look at you and be like, you need a straitjacket. Nobody would believe it.
No, not at all. And so now leading into these next games, this is something to think about. Now, I know there is – we'll talk recruiting too before we wrap up, and we'll look at the polls. So we may go a little bit longer for you all. You're welcome. Love you all. Love you guys. No, but looking at the games coming up, so you've got Missouri, who's now ranked in the AP, which means I do expect them to be ranked in the actual college football poll. They're ranked right now. Coaches have them at 21. The AP has them at 23. LSU won't be ranked, period. They're just not at the point where they should be ranked at all. But what I see out of Missouri is if they feel like they can risk it, they may try to play Bo. But if they're smart, you're not going to play Bo until next year because you're going to need him for next season, period. And you don't want to do anything to that ankle that could lead to him not being able to play. You're going to a bowl game. You're good. You're already bowl eligible. So you're solid on that. You don't have to worry about any of that. 6-3, you're going to go to a bowl game. You want to make sure that he's healthy going forward. And you're probably going to beat Arkansas because Arkansas has been in shambles. All you got to do is go hit your 7th win, go to a bowl game with the 8th win, and boom, you're solid. When it comes to us against Missouri, we cannot take them lightly. Now, I will talk about this week, probably do something Wednesday. But you can't overlook the talent that exists there in Missouri.
No.
Period. Because Ahmad Hardy is a monster of a running back. And that's literally all they do, really, is run. Now, you hit them over the head. To me, our best, we could probably make them have to go halfway one-dimensional, just like Auburn did. I think that's the best way you're going to play this game. You can't have that dude go off. That's the only game where they did not run 400 yards in a game. Remember, Tennessee, for the first time since like 22 or 21, they didn't run for 100 yards in a game. I went back and looked at it. We held them. That is their bread and butter to get their offense going. Missouri's literally is that. That's like literally all their offense that exists today. Don't let them run for 300 yards on you and you're fine. But I think our focal point has to be on that. So I want to say it. Do not take this lightly. They will be a challenge.
And I'm not even... Yeah, I think that their offense is good. That Auburn game, that relaxes me quite a bit. But I will say this. Their defense is also very, very good. And, yeah, TP GUR won. I think that's what that says. You go 1-0. Handle your success. We handled success this week. You got to go do it this because now you've got so much in front of you. And to go on the road to Tennessee, go on the road to Bama, and then to come home and have an oops against one of these next two games it would be damning. But I will say Missouri's defense is what bothers me, and that's why I think because both these defenses we're going to play are going to be good defenses every single week. That's all we got. Unfortunately, we didn't get the other side of the bracket where you get to be like A&M and play everybody at the bottom of the conference. But you have You have, Hardy is like the Ashton Genty of this year.
He really
Like
is.
that's who he is.
He's the freaking Michael Myers dude of just he bounces off everybody. He's just that talented. Like I don't want to. One game at a time.
Just like you're playing Brandon Jacobs, the old Washington or Wisconsin back that went to the Giants. Just like you're playing Derrick Henry. Are they harder to tackle at the beginning of their run or at the end of their run? They're harder at the end. You catch him and you get behind that line. We also have our friend Mr. Caden Green that we'd like to still give our regards to. But there is some fear in LSU, Jay, because LSU has nothing to lose when they're going to be coming to Norman on November 29th. They have nothing to lose. Now, do they still have something to play for? Are there, with the coaching staff changes, what's going to happen there? Do you have guys that are already with bags packed and talking through channels to other teams? So it could go one way or the other. Though I think that with the LSU game, you get up early, you make them make business decisions early, and guys are going to be doing this.
Yep. That's exactly what it is. Tapping out. And I know that a lot of people keep asking about the, Wes pointing out that any defense should bother you. Oh, you can't score more than 2 touchdowns. We've done that more than 2 offensive touchdowns in multiple games. We've done that in the SEC actually too. So not really that. I mean, South Carolina, Tennessee. We scored 30 against Tennessee. I don't know if people knew that part. We scored 30 against Tennessee, Coop. Did you know that?
Yeah. Listen, guys, I understand
Michigan,
that the offense is not we're not lighting it up. You're winning games. You got a clean game. No turnovers. Almost don't count for nothing. Almost has no part in this game.
Right.
So, but
like for me,
yes, both of those teams are going to have good defenses.
Yes. And Missouri's defense is not bad. It's not as high as Missouri's defense is basically rated up there with Tennessee's. Just keeping that a buck. LSU's is probably a little bit lower right now.
Points per game, you got Ellis. So we are number 1. LSU is number 5. Missouri number 6. That's points per game, yards per game.
Actually, LSU is rated efficiency wise right there with Auburn.
So
top 15. So LSU is going to be interesting because I don't know who's going to be their quarterback. Is Nussmeier going to try to make a return? Is he going to take the super serum again and play us? Or is he going to go ahead and shut it down for the rest of the season? To me, and I'm in the mindset of a lot of y'all who's been keep pointing this out. Thank you all for saying that. I would like us to win games. That's it. Don't care. If you get the W, you get the W. And you're getting healthier as the season progresses. Knock on wood. Just pray we keep going.
And yes, 2 touchdowns against Tennessee. We had multiple field goals. That's still part of the offense. You get points for those. So that's what the offense scores. And yardage-wise, our defense puts us in a lot of really friendly spots. And so you're not going to have these. Yeah, we're not having big, long 80-yard drives, but our defense keeps us out of that scenario quite often.
Right.
So is the offense great? No. But, to say that, we've played a great defense damn near every single week of the season. Just at yards per game. Let's go. I like the points per game here. We played Bama, which is number 2, Texas, which is number 3. We got LSU, which is number 5, Missouri, Ole Miss, Auburn, South Carolina. We didn't get to Tennessee's now at the back end, but you're going out there and doing it. Yeah, and the blood pressure, Jonathan, bro. After these past 2 weeks, with everything going on with the family, I was trying to make my decision on whether or not I want to go to Missouri game. And even though it was a week away yesterday, I really was just like, don't know if I can do it. But
yeah, it's going to be tough.
That's why I'm drinking a Red Bull at 7:15.
Yeah, so you don't want to go to sleep tonight is what you're telling me. So, okay. Let's take a gander at this then. I want to look at the polls. I think it's time to talk polls because top 25 has dropped. Oklahoma is in a spot that looks really good for them. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Me and Coop will probably dive more into the what's left on our schedule soon. We'll make some time and put something together. But of course, AP to me is of course the most important. Seems to be what everybody pays attention to most, especially when it comes to the playoff committee. Number 8. So at this point, yes, there are 2 6s. Texas Tech and Oregon are tied in votes at 6. So at this point, basically, Oklahoma just needs to keep winning. And we're good.
Al Davis, baby. Just win, baby, win.
Just win, baby, win. And, of course, the next 2 games are going to be a challenge because they are the SEC. And a lot of people have been pointing out the difference in the competition between the SEC and everybody else is it's not that easy. Like, it's a challenge. These teams are rated highly when it comes to blue chip ratios, better and other, blah, blah, blah. Missouri's going to be fun. The good thing for us is Missouri being ranked. If we pull that off, if and when we pull that off, it just makes us look good on our resume even more. That's it. That's really where we're going with it this weekend, is that.
And, like, I saw somebody post somewhere where, as of right now, OU has 4 wins over ranked teams.
Yeah, we're tied with Alabama for the most.
And Ohio State and Indiana have combined for 4. So you get a Missouri in here. And, again, though, I mean, you go out and beat Missouri, that's going to be 5. They won't be ranked anymore. Who cares? But still, you play the schedule you got in front of you. You listen to any national show across the board, and everybody is like, we never saw this coming with that schedule, the brutal schedule that they had, and they made it through the schedule, and they're sitting here in 8-2. They should have been tuning in, Jay.
Should have. Because, hey, man, we tried to tell y'all, man, this is where we was going. We figured that this team had a floor 9-3, still at 11-1. If everybody was healthy throughout if your quarterback was healthy most of the year, you probably do turn one of those L's into a W, and there's a chance. But at this point, we have the capabilities of finishing out at 10-2 in the SEC with arguably the hardest schedule in college football. I would just like to point out the fact that we're 8-2 in the schedule so far. And so many people told us that was not going to even be possible. Bama's number 10 right now, but Bama will most likely play in the SEC championship game, which will help their resume going forward. That will also help ours, guys. You need Bama to win out. And if A&M doesn't fumble their bag, they will play against Alabama in the SEC championship game. Because Bama has the wins. That gets them the tiebreaker over Georgia and Ole Miss. That's what you need.
Yeah. And
you just need Bama to win out.
You look at a bunch of these teams, it's like dang near every single one of them were on our schedule.
That's crazy. That's crazy, right? You got Michigan in there who's ranked. Tennessee's ranked. You'll have Missouri, Alabama, Ole Miss. Texas, we played all those ranked teams, man. That is just dumb.
And just imagine if LSU was just a little bit
Get in the water. Get in the water. Yeah. Tell them, Stouffer, get straight in the water. But if we play like we're supposed to and close this out right, there is a possibility of moving up. We just got to see what Ole Miss does. Because Ole Miss did a really good job of avoiding catastrophe against Florida this week. I thought that was the game that could have knocked them out. That was, to me, the one that was like, they lose one. It might be it. That's the game. SEC, you saw a lot of interesting scores this weekend. Not going to lie. You saw some interesting ones.
Let's talk about a couple of them.
Yeah, let's dive into some of the SEC games because I think that'd be fun. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. I'm going to pull up the schedule from the SEC because, Coop, how in the heck did Texas A&M win this game?
Because a certain head coach of South Carolina had travel plans to Cancun.
Did he actually?
Jay, it's one way. Texas A&M gave South Carolina that lead. They gave them the lead in the first half. It's funny that when you quit throwing the ball to the other team, you can actually go do some stuff on your own. And we knew that South Carolina is dealing with injuries, and so that depth started kind of waning. And then Shane Beamer and whoever the hell is calling offense for them came out in the second half, and they ran like they were trying to get to the zeros.
Yes, they were playing to not lose rather than try to continue to win this game.
But I can say this is, it looked like it was over. It's 30-3 at halftime. The last 5 minutes of the first half may have been the most self-harm I've seen from a football team coming from A&M that I've ever seen in my entire life. And, when it's all said and done, you got to give credit for A&M for not being, from the only standpoint of they decided to come out and be like, hey, we can go do this. But this is why I don't believe in A&M. If you're that good, you can't let that first half happen. And then by early fourth quarter, it looked like they may blow them out by 2 or 3 touchdowns. And they couldn't finish it off. Literally, I think that I'll look, but I think that they scored that final touchdown with still like 10 minutes to go. And I turned to someone, I said to Keith, who came over and watched the game with me, and I just said, hey,
10:47.
10:47. So they went the rest of that. And it's not like they weren't trying. They just, nothing continued. South Carolina could have done anything, but it was the self-harm torch got passed to South Carolina in the second half. So I guess you got to give it up. I guess you got to give it up to A&M for not coming out and going, hey guys, we still got a decent cushion. But I can promise you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I can promise you that battered Aggie syndrome started flaring up in a lot of fruity cadets down south. So
yeah, and even looking at that, man, I give A&M credit because it is really hard to go undefeated, especially in the SEC. That's just hard. There's a reason why Bama's not undefeated, Georgia's not undefeated, us, Texas, right? Ole Miss, go down the list. Ain't nobody undefeated besides A&M. The Notre Dame game was a solid one for them. It looks good because of where Notre Dame is, and just finding the way to close these games out. They did. Now, granted, South Carolina's defense is bad. We exposed them very badly when we traveled to their house and led to them firing more people. Beamer's probably cooked at this point. It just doesn't look like. But yeah, them being able to at the half look at that same 30-3 and say we're not gonna let them score no more, and we need to go score enough to win. I can commend them. Arkansas, LSU. Impressed that LSU was able to pull it off. And I guess the most impressive thing is that Arkansas's offense is potent, and they could not do anything against the LSU defense. They figured it out. I'll give them that.
In the second half, yeah. Because homeboy Taylor Green was running all over LSU's defense in the first half, and they played very well for Wilson. That's what it was. Yeah, they showed up second half for him. First half. But it was they miss a field goal at the end of regulation to lose. So they had the game right in front of them,
fair
to win, and LSU got to give it up to them. They're still trying,
and then LSU burned the clock with 5 minutes and 8 seconds left. They just burned the midnight oil on him.
Bauer Sharp got himself a touchdown.
Hey, look at Bauer Sharp. Look at him. Look at him go. Him go.
He was kind of at the back corner of the end zone. And, all he could have done is drop it.
1 catch, 12 yards. Look at him go. Happy for him. He needed that in his life because he had been falling apart. Besides that, you had 2 games where you saw some potential. Florida had it, man. I thought that Florida defense was going to be better than that in the end. That was bad. How did Florida let them off the hook?
And this is where I go, Mateer since the injury has been consistent. We know what we're getting out of John Mateer every single week. I think it'd be more maddening to have DJ Lagway. That guy has games where he can't throw for 100 yards, and then he has games like this up to a certain point to where they're just going all over the place. And,
good, then bad, then good, then bad, then good, then bad, then good, then bad. It was like, I have no idea.
And who does Ole Miss ends their Mississippi State at the Cowboy Land, 11 a.m., and then they are done. So they've got one more game, and we'll see if the Fighting Jeff Lebbies can give them a run for their money after Ahmad Hardy just ran for another 50 yards against Mississippi State just now.
I hate you. That's so rude. That's so rude. That's funny. Of course, the one y'all wanted to talk about, like we don't need to talk about Missouri running for 300 yards on Mississippi State. Tells you everything you need to know. Texas, wow. Yeah, Coop, is your phone near your, what you call it again? Because I'm hearing the clicking again in my ear from you.
No, sir.
That's weird. Okay, I gotta go look and see where that's coming from. But anyway,
I'll put it further.
Texas and man, that's a score, 35-10.
Well, it might seem that when you're playing the teams like, Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt came out and scored 21. I think that I saw something along the lines in the last certain amount of minutes, Texas giving up like 100 points. And Jay, this was a tight game. You're going into it. I don't feel like there was ever a point to where I thought Texas had a chance to get out in front. Even at the 10-14 score, like it didn't feel like Texas could pull it off. But Texas fan, the cope is rough today. It just is what it is. Like, there's not a play call here or, a penalty here or anything like that was going to prevent this. Like, and I've seen a lot of the coping on those portions. The guy still can't catch the football with regularity. Running isn't easy. You just went up against athletes, and guess what? Georgia's quarterback wasn't 2 weeks out from a broken hand. It just is what it is. Like, we knew this was coming. And Kirby Smart, tell me how scared of Kirby Smart's not scared of Texas's offense in the least, Jay. For him to go up, score that first touchdown, and then come right out and kick it, and kick that onside kick, that told me that, listen, and Georgia's defense, it hasn't been good this year.
It's been okay. What's funny to that is that Sark said they practiced preparing for that play.
Practiced it.
They knew it was coming because it made sense that it was going to come. That's basically what they've been doing. They've been doing it all year to people.
And, in the chat, Blake, you're right. The cope is rough, right? This was preseason Heisman winner, preseason national champion. Nah, dog. Yeah, you're not a sneaky. If we weren't going to get in with a potential loss to Bama and closing out our schedule at 9-3, there's no way after getting a 25, that's how many times now has Texas's offense scored like under 20 points just total? I mean, just Texas as a team under 20 points because, they scored 7 against Ohio State. So going up against bigger boys, and people will go and look and they'll go, well, listen, OU is their best win. And OU, that's a rivalry game, and sometimes shenanigans happen in those things. But then also at the same time, everybody knows John Mateer. I mean, you went from a Heisman contender since he broke the hand. He's looked like a game manager. And nobody's voting Texas in. I don't care what they do to A&M.
And this is exactly it, Lemon. Texas has a Georgia problem. Georgia has a Bama problem. Bama has Oklahoma problem. Oklahoma will solve the Texas problem. Yeah, because we typically do. But yeah, that's the SEC, baby. That's the beauty of it. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a fun week next week. The last week of the season is gonna be the most interesting, especially us, LSU, Texas A&M on Friday night. You'll have the Egg Bowl, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and then you'll have Alabama, Auburn in the Iron Bowl. So you're gonna have a lot of potential massive matchups. It's gonna be a good time. So thank you for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Let's wrap up in recruiting. It sounds like we've got some potential commitments, or at least people are talking very fond of us right now. I saw the tweet from Hayes that OU recruiting is up. Coop, what you thinking?
I mean, we heard somebody say like, hey, listen, that's easy to recruit against. I'm sorry, I just don't buy that. I think that there are a lot of really good offensive players that go to perennial shit offenses. And it just is what it is. It's happened year in and year out. You'll see somebody go somewhere and you're like, why? Why'd Cam Coleman stick around at Auburn after watching what happened last year? They know what Jackson Arnold was. Like, why do you think that was going, like, so I think that what's going to happen is you're going to see some flips. You're going to see a lot of 26 guys. You're going to see some 27 guys already starting to come. Yeah, Pettit, that's a big one right now. Because you go talk to somebody, you say, hey, listen, looky here. We got production spots open up next year. This is going to be opening up the season. OU is going to be a top 7 minimum going into the season next year. There's no negative recruiting that's going to combat that. And there's a good chance that OU is top 5 because you are returning. I think on the defense, you're going to lose Robert Spears Jennings, Gentry Williams, Kobe. Where's Kobe Jr.?
No, Kobe's only a junior.
Okay,
you only on defense you lose Robert Spears Jennings, Dominic Williams, and Marvin Jones Jr. and R. Mason Thomas. That's it. Everybody else is underclassmen. And everybody, either juniors or sophomores and freshmen, of course.
Yes, Mateer's going to be here again. Before the injury, guys, he was the freaking Heisman frontrunner. Let's get him another year in the system. Let's get him healthy. I don't think it's going to be Heisman frontrunner type of stuff, but he's going to be in the conversation next year. I really do believe it. I don't think Michael Hawkins is probably going to be back. Michael Hawkins couldn't throw for 300 yards against Kent State. So that's just, nothing against Mike. I just don't know if he is ready to take it up yet. And there's nothing that's shown me that he is. Now, maybe another year in the system. Maybe we have a competition. I don't know. But I do say that I do think that, you got to look at where we all were around John Mateer prior to the announcement on Monday afternoon after the Auburn game.
What's fascinating to me, too, is that it was reported, I think Thune was talking about it, that Stacey Ford was basically on FaceTime and Instagram Live with folks right after the game.
From the sidelines.
He was on the sidelines, recording videos, sending it to recruits, and he was doing like some FaceTimes and stuff, which is hilarious. So if I'm being honest, with all of the recruiting pluses that we're hearing potentially, I think it's some of those West Coast kids that we've been hearing about. Like, I know that we're in on it. Jake Krell threw out one. Why not OU? Hayes tossing up. I think it was Wiltfong was talking about there are some players that are really looking at Oklahoma even more now. Now, if there's one player that I want to get my hands on, I would love for us to, because we're hearing Messiah Mickens is very interested in Oklahoma. There was a few crystal balls that came out over the last few days. Messiah Mickens at running back, the one that was committed to Penn State, is one that looks like it sounds like there's a lot of possibility there. There's more possibilities at a 27 corner, which I don't look at the 27s too much, except for the Tavian Epps, the edge that was committed to Texas. He's looking at a potential flip, but Messiah Mickens has already gotten a crystal ball from Adam Gorney. The one that I want to hear though about, truth be told, can we go down there and find a way to snatch up Jonathan Hatton? No, we need running backs. Would love to go for a 3 running back class and bring him in. That dude's one that could play as a freshman too, like your Torrey Blaylock and your X-Rob. You need more bodies. I like some young ones that have potential of breaking out.
Yeah,
personally.
And somebody asked about Peyton Houston. Peyton Houston committed to LSU. I'd say the most hopium around that one would probably be they make a really, really bad hire. But he is a very big Louisiana kid, and I don't know if OU ever really was going. OU was the one that was give the secondary choice if there was one. I don't think OU was the number. I think it was LSU, a big gap, then OU,
Oklahoma,
and then a bigger gap in USC. Like that's what I believe.
Yeah, you're not getting paid in Houston, unfortunately. He is your traditional Louisiana kid. It sucks. Like right now, the Braden Allen is potential flip candidate to flip over to LSU from us. Why? Because he's from that area. And it's really hard to get kids out of Louisiana, regardless of how interested they're in other programs, because LSU just has that hold on that territory. They do. It's amazing. Like I said, I'd say it's voodoo all the time, dog. But I don't see us being able to pull Peyton Houston out of there. I think 27, I know they're evaluating quarterbacks. I think they've got a couple of big options they could go. And it's really the kids that are from Louisiana, like literally from there. Like, for example, the number one quarterback, or he's a top 5 player in the country right now, I think it's Elijah Haven. He's in Baton Rouge, but he's from Florida. So he's a transplant. He don't count in a lot of their circumstances because of the fact that he's not literally like born and raised there. He lives there now, but he's not born and raised. So when you talk about guys that aren't from there, that's where you run into these problems of, can you pull them? You can pull guys that aren't ingrained in Louisiana itself. I don't know. I got to look through 27 class. I haven't really dug too deep into it because I'm so focused on this season, but I do believe we are actually in. I think Pettit we're in on 26. It sounds like we could legitimately have a chance. I do believe we get, because right now we're sitting at 22. I think we get to 25. Honestly.
And listen, there's conversations going on with all the switching around. I think that's what makes it a little bit more tough. And if some of these bigger jobs, hold out and say that you're waiting on a Lane Kiffin, people who are committed to certain schools are going to start wondering what's going on. And that full court press from this recruiting staff is going to be going pretty hard, and it's going to be pretty tough for them to sit and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Specific wide receivers out of Texas, committed to Florida. So, but yeah, I mean, I do think that OU's recruiting class 3 to 6, and with some certain names, which would be help you raise up the rankings quite a bit. Some certain names are still on the board now.
Yeah, and just keep an eye on who loses their jobs in the next 3 weeks. When jobs open, because there's certain players we're going after because of job openings, you have a good chance of trying to steal some recruits. And I love this question, Jonathan. How did they let Arch leave Louisiana? For some reason, none of the Mannings go to schools in Louisiana.
Man.
Peyton went to Tennessee. I think Cooper and Eli went to Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Archie went to Ole Miss, if I'm correct, too. So I don't know what it is. He's from Mississippi. Of course, the kids were raised in Louisiana because, he played for the Saints. And that's what he went back to. But, yeah, they're not really like Louisiana people, which is the weirdest thing is that Gentry is a junior. He's a redshirt junior. So he'll be back. He can come back next year. But I don't know. We got a lot of kids and irons in the fire. To me, I just need to see, can they go ahead and get these either flips in or get these commits? Like, the list is still pretty long on the offer sheet of players that they're still in on. You got a lot of visitors coming for the LSU game. I'm not sure what there's a visitor list for Missouri. I haven't seen anything for that.
There's going to be a lot. I mean, so I think that may have been Ford that tweeted out that they're setting up a pretty crazy list of people for both Missouri and LSU.
Yeah, I know that Dane, the kid from Indiana, the edge, is coming in, which that would give you like 4 edge rushers in this class, which feels high. But at the same time, I guess losing R. Mason Thomas and Marvin Jones Jr., you bring in young guys that you can potentially have in which you expect Jake Krill to rotate in as a freshman. That kind of gives you 4 dudes to play. See, Okoye, Wine, PJ, and
Gilmore.
Then possibly Wyatt Gilmore, and then potentially Jake Krill or CJ Nixon.
That's another one. It's you really got to think that the way that you've seen R. Mason Thomas continue to Topher, it's not about you. But
really
the way
think
that
the song
you've
is
seen,
about you, don't you? Kidding.
You've really seen, the R. Mason Thomas, ascension, and now you're seeing Taylor Wine. So, the Chavis at one point, a lot of people want to say might have been the weakness on the defensive side, coaching wise. That he's getting to a spot to where we need to probably up a few dollars on him.
Yeah, no, that's right. I think Oklahoma's going to probably throw some dollars at a wide receiver for this class, just to add. Probably a portal guy, yeah. We may even just try to get some money for the class. I'm really curious, though, who's going to be our who's really going to show up for this Missouri game. I know LSU's got a longer list, especially with 26s. The Missouri game is a lot more 27. So I think Dane's for LSU. I'm sorry. Dane is Missouri. You got some Cali kids coming in for the LSU game. So I don't know. We'll see. So, all right. We're wrapping up. We're going to get out of here. We're going long. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We're going to wrap this bad boy up and get going. We'll talk Missouri later this week. I think probably do something Thursday. I have a late flight Wednesday back home, so we'll see.
Your arms will be tired.
My arms are going to be exhausted. So we're going to do something Thursday for y'all, and we'll talk that game and make the magic happen. Appreciate y'all pulling up. We'll talk soon. Peace.